feelings have a significant part to play in your business. Every time you make a decision, you always should take a look at what feelings are behind this decision that you are making. I'm a firm believer that business isn't actually a rational game. It's a game based on emotions. And this is a lesson that I learned at a very young age. And it taught me a lot. When I was 17 years old, I became a personal trainer because I was very much into helping people. And that's always been a big part of my life. And at that time, I wanted to help people get healthier, be fitter, just feel better about themselves, because a lot of people base their confidence, their self-esteem, based on how they look, how much they weigh, for example, can they fit into clothes, and how they feel in clothes. So at that age, I was gung-ho about helping people. And I would put together these training programs, workout programs, diet programs, or nutrition programs for individuals at that time. And what I realized was that the majority of people, close to about 80%, so 8 out of 10 people wouldn't actually execute, wouldn't actually do the things that they should be doing in order to get fit or to feel better about themselves or get healthier, whatever their goal was. And I really tried to figure out why that was. And that's when I started to study psychology at a much deeper level. And I realized that it really came down to emotions. And although we have this part of us that we believe is rational, much of our thought, if you take a look at what studies show from a psychological perspective, a neuroscience perspective, much of our thought, or much of our actions, I should say, are based on emotions, because we are creatures of emotion, or creatures of feelings. Now, some people differentiate emotions and feelings, and there's a reason behind that, but I'm not going to explain that here. But we are creatures of feelings. We make decisions based on our feelings. And the estimate, just a crude estimate, and there's a lot more to this, but scientists believe that 95% of our decision-making is based on emotions. So what does that mean, right? And that's just simplifying it. But let's just say that that is true, that most of your decisions are based on your emotions, even though that you think you are extremely rational. Now, there are times where you can be more rational than others, and maybe that 95% drops to 50%. But that's still a significant amount of impact that feelings have on your decision making. And business is essentially this. That's all it is these two things: decision making and taking action. It's all about making decisions, taking action, making decisions, taking action. There's another step in there, which is called learning from your decisions and actions. But that's all you're doing. You're deciding, you're acting, you're learning. You're deciding, you're acting, and you're learning. And a lot of that has to do with emotions. So if you think that, let's just say decision-making is 50% of success, action is 50% of success. Well, half of your success, that 50%, 95% of that is based on emotions. Now, your actions, a significant amount of your actions are actually based on emotions too. And here's just a simple example, if you don't believe me. When you have a bad day, or let's just say you get into an argument with someone, whether it's a family member, a wife, whoever it may be, and you go into work, you're not going to perform as good. You're not going to perform as well because you're constantly ruminating over that argument, because it's a feeling. It's not a rational thought. Your rational part is basically, hey, look, that happened this morning, has nothing to do with business. I'm going to continue to perform. But your feelings tell you something else. Your feelings tell you, maybe, you know what? Maybe something's not right here. Maybe you should have done something different. Maybe you could have responded differently. Maybe you could have had a different reaction. Maybe you shouldn't have reacted at all to whatever that person was saying. And now that stunts your performance. So absolutely 110%, your feelings impact your action or performance as well. So now you have your decision-making that's impacted by your emotions or feelings. And then you have your performance or your actions that are impacted by feelings. So feelings have a significant part to play in your business. Every time you make a decision, you always should take a look at what feelings are behind this decision that you are making. Because even though they might not be conscious, they're there unconsciously. And so they have a significant impact. That's why when we work with entrepreneurs, CEOs, we always try to get a good grasp of their feelings. We try to figure out, okay, what emotional state is that individual in at this particular time, as well as what is their default emotional state? Where do they tend to fall? Are they typically less positive, less optimistic, and more on the, let's just say, sadness level, or are they on a happier scale, for example? They have a higher level of joy, because those two scales actually impact your ability to make decisions as well. That's why we always tell people not to make decisions when they're in a lower state, because when you have less energy, you are more likely to make worse decisions. And if you want to make better decisions, you should absolutely be in a higher state, a higher emotional state. So make decisions when you're feeling better. That's something, again, that I learned the hard way. And there was a period of time in my life where I just made a series of decisions when I wasn't feeling good. I was just in a low energy state, and that came back to bite me in the butt later on. I knew the stuff rationally. I knew the stuff intellectually. But emotionally, I wasn't where I needed to be in order to make those decisions. And what happened as a result was it cost me financially. So the whole point here is that the better emotional state that you are in, the better you are going to perform, the better decisions you're going to make, and the better your business is actually going to perform as well. Your business is not based on your rational thinking. Your business is based on how you feel. Now, that's a tough one to swallow. That's a tough pill. Now, take a look at this. Now, here's where the real impact comes in. Now, take a look at that and multiply it by every single employee that you have on your team. So if you have 10 employees, that impact multiplies, because it's not just your feelings now, it's their feelings as well that impact the performance of your business, because they also make decisions every single day impacting your business. They also take actions every single day that impact your business. So now that is being multiplied. Now, if your organization has 500 employees or 1,000 employees or 5,000 employees or 10,000 employees, just keep multiplying that. That is how much or how big of a degree that feelings impact your business. So what is the whole point here? The whole point is you better learn to understand your feelings much better, because when you can understand your feelings much better, you can actually make better decisions and you can actually take more effective action. And this type of training is not just for you, and it's just not just for your leaders. It's for every single person in your organization. That's why when a lot of organizations have emotional intelligence training or leadership training, which includes emotional intelligence training, they typically do it at the leadership level and manager level, but it misses the whole point here is that every single person needs to understand their emotions better. So if you have an organization of 500 people, and let's just say you have 80 leaders or managers, and you're just training them on how to manage their emotions effectively, well, you got 420 people still left that are having difficulty managing their emotions. If you don't believe that to be true, well, then take a look at how many people, for example, are struggling in their own lives. By our estimates, by our research, 8 out of 10 people are struggling with something, whether that's in their professional life or in their personal life. And that absolutely impacts their performance on a day-to-day basis. So on a positive note, think about this. It's not just you, it's your competition as well. So if your competition, let's just say there's your business, there's your competitor's business, you're training, let's just say all things equal, let's just say revenue, employee number, whatever it is, products and services, you end up training your people, all 500 of them, on how to manage their emotions more effectively so they can make better decisions, take more effective action. And your competitors are not doing any training whatsoever or just training their leaders, you're going to be able to outperform them by a long shot. Now, this isn't a short game. This is a long-term game. This isn't just going to happen overnight. If you're training 500 people, it may take a couple of years for the effects to actually kick in to the full degree. But when they do, that's when your revenues actually start to skyrocket. And the problem here is that most organizations, they're not patient enough. They don't see this. They don't see the impact that this type of training has on individuals at the frontline level. They'd rather those individuals just focus on sales revenues or expense reduction, and the investment in their employees is very minimal. There is a direct correlation between the training that you provide your employees and the revenues that you make and the profits that you make It's been shown over and over again and through our studies as well. You want higher quality people that are trained to a better degree, that can manage their emotions more effectively so they can make better decisions and take more effective action. So just to wrap it up here, if you believe that your business is based on rational thinking, it is absolutely not. It's based on feelings and emotions. And the more you can actually equip your team members, all of your team members, to deal with their emotions and feelings better, the faster your profits and revenues will grow, because it all comes down to making decisions and taking action. And both of those factors are impacted by feelings. Hope you get this.